Hi everyone. In this week, we're starting to talk about hypothesis testing. And I want to start with a demonstration. And I have with me my husband, Sean Duggan. He's going to help me to demonstrate what hypothesis testing looks like in a general sense with a deck of cards. Okay, we're going to get started. First of all, I'll ask you, what do you know about a deck of cards? How many cards are in a deck of cards?
52?
There are 52 cards. So we know that a typical population, a deck of cards has 52. And about how many of those are black and about how many are red?
About half.
About half. It's half and half. We know certain things about this population of a standard deck of cards. So if I were to draw a sample from this deck of 52 cards, we could pretty much predict what it's going to look like because we know something about the population, right? So for example, if I were to take 10 cards, about how many of them are going to be red, would you say?
5?
5, yeah. So about 5 are going to be red. We can make this sort of estimate because we know something about the population. So let's do that right now. I've got a deck of cards here. I'm going to do a little shuffling. And then I'm going to have Sean draw 10 cards one at a time. And you keep track of how many are red and how many are black. So let's go ahead and get started. And what's the first color?
Red.
Okay, so
Red.
we have one red. All right, you keeping track?
Red.
Oh, 2 red. Oh, okay, 2 reds. So there you go.
Red.
No way. Okay, what's happening? We have 3 red cards in a row. That's pretty unusual.
Red.
No way. Seriously.
Red.
Is this supposed to work this way? Should we be having 5 red cards? Is it possible to have 5 red cards come in a row? Yes, it is possible. It's not very likely. Let's see what happens next.
Red.
Okay.
Red.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we have 7 red cards in a row. Let's do the last 3 real fast.
Red.
Oh no.
Red.
No way. Oh, the last one. This has to be a black
Let
one.
me shuffle this.
Yeah, maybe I didn't shuffle them. Maybe that's it.
Red.
We had 10
the
red
deck.
cards. Hold on for just a second. So we have 10 red cards that came up in a row. And that's not what we expected. We expected, based on what we know about the population, that it would have been about 5. Would it have been exactly 5? Maybe or maybe not. Because when we have a sample, we have sampling error. We have, it's not always going to exactly replicate the population. But usually it would seem like it would be pretty close. So I have a question for you. Do you know how, what is the probability, we've been talking about probability, of choosing 10 red cards from a standard deck of cards? If I were to do this 10 in a row, I'm going to calculate it in my head right now because I know the formula for this. And the probability is about 1 in 1,000. Or we might say P equals 0.001. In other words, it is extremely unlikely to choose 10 red cards from a standard deck. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. It can happen, but it's very, very unlikely. When something like this happens, when it's so unlikely, we start to wonder if maybe we're not dealing with the population we thought we were dealing with. So we thought we were dealing with a standard deck of cards, and you've already figured it out, haven't you?
Yeah, stacked.
Okay. This is a different population of cards. These are all red cards, and that's why we ended up with this unusual result. So we're going to use this example as we're talking about hypothesis testing. When we do hypothesis testing, we can never say for sure that these 10 red cards come from a different population because we never really have access to the full population. We can't really check that out. But we can just say that given what we know to be true about the population, choosing 10 red cards is so unusual that we say, no, these 10 red cards are from a different population. So hopefully this will give you some idea of what it means to do hypothesis testing in statistics. We're not proving anything. We're only showing the likelihood of our sample coming from a certain population. So stay tuned for the videos this week that'll explain this in further. And thank you to my husband for being a good participant in this demonstration. Okay, I'll see you at the next video.
So you lied to me.
Maybe.
You set me up like a fool.